What up, guys? We are live again for another exciting episode of Flat Cart Mafia on this Sunday evening. Getting real close to the Mr. Ho Ho Man coming.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
Shane, it's getting closer. You're getting
yep,
closer, man. You
yep,
announced today,
yep,
what yesterday or today, that you're leaving
yep,
in like 19 days for your big
yep,
journey down to Georgia.
yep,
Everything's coming together for you
yep.
and your career and life, man. Congratulations, brother. I will sorely miss you up here, but hey,
We'll be back.
we have the podcast, right?
Yep.
We'll be together every Sunday.
Good news is I had a meeting with some of our like HR departments and stuff like that, and they were some of the vacation days I'm getting and receiving are way more than I was actually planning on. So we've already scheduled a few weeks where we'll be back up in Ohio, and
Nice.
definitely 1 or 2 of those weeks, I will definitely be out at the track, if not watching people race, but participating myself, which you're not going to keep me out of it.
Right,
So
right,
that's awesome. But as you said, we announced yesterday that we got our place, we got everything all set up. We start the move probably January 1st. Honestly, is when we're gonna start heading down that way. It's a sweet but sad moment. It definitely
right.
is. Definitely
So
is.
let me ask you, and are you and the missus happy and the kids happy, or you guys?
Yes. Yeah. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It really
It's
is.
got to be. It's
It
got to be.
is. I mean, it wasn't a decision that was made overnight. It's been about almost close to a year in planning and getting it set up and getting all the moving parts to work. And I've always said that if it didn't occur naturally and we were forcing it, this isn't for us.
Right,
But it everything honestly just fell right into place. And as I said, I'm a big family man. I we have a big family. I have a big family and all this other stuff. But some of the biggest reasons why we're heading down that way is to be closer to Amanda's family, who all lives in South Carolina and North Carolina and stuff like
right.
that. She's never had that opportunity to be close to her family. Now we have that ability.
It's understandable, man. I
Mhm.
mean, you know what I mean? Understandable.
Yeah.
And, I wish you guys the best. And like I
Thank you.
said, it's
Thank you.
I'm losing my racing partner besides I got my other one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
we
but
all
the
gain
other
friends and family almost coming across in racing
we
life
it
and
is.
stuff
Yeah.
and and
So
but
so is so is
so
your house ready for Christmas?
uh yeah, I got a couple more things I got to
Yep.
get and stuff, and I think we're ready. I mean, it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? It's a holiday. It's more geared for the kids and stuff, but
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited because it's my granddaughter Emery's
Oh yeah.
first Christmas,
Hmm.
and so I'm just excited for her and her to be opening up gifts and see what the ho ho man brought. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
it's
know.
all fun.
Yeah, I know today, which we were talking on the phone earlier today, and you asked what was going on. I was like, I'm putting up the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Eh, you
And what
know,
did I ask you?
eh,
I
eh,
said, you're
why?
leaving in 19 days.
Why? Well, I had Ari, which is my 7-year-old, goes, Daddy, if you don't have a Christmas tree up, Santa's not coming. And that pulled out the heartstrings a little bit, so I had to drag it
Yeah,
out
well, now you got to go do it. You
and
know what I
put it
mean?
up and all that other
Yeah,
stuff. And that
decorate it.
Yeah, the Mauer house now has a Christmas tree. I was teasing him. I was like, I don't know if you ever seen that episode of Seinfeld when George Costanza or whatever. Yeah, George's dad puts up that pole when they had Festivus.
Festivus, yeah, yes,
Parents of grievances. This is
yeah.
what I hate about you all.
Well, at least you're not like Clark Griswold and had to
Yeah,
go out and cut down
yeah,
a tree in the family truckster or something and bring it,
yeah,
and try to fit it in the house. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Exactly,
But hey, man,
exactly.
we got a great show. We got
Yes.
a couple great local racers that we both raced with.
Hmm.
Um, one I have a very close relationship with. The other one you have a really close
Yes.
relationship with. So I mean, but we're all friends and
Mhm.
all family from us
Yep.
where
It
we've come and we've gained and
Mhm.
guys that we respect
Mhm.
and
And
I want to know what their plans are for
yep.
coming up this next year and what they've been doing. One's been hiding all season long, so I'm going to pick his brain a little bit. Where's he been?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Exactly.
the other one has kind of been hit and skip too, but I kind of
Mhm.
understand his story.
Yeah.
He got a
Yeah.
little one and stuff. But let's bring him up. I'm going to bring up
Yep.
John Gardner and Trevor Holdren.
Yep.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
How
Welcome,
you doing?
fellas. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Good. You guys yourself?
Thank you for joining us this week on this podcast. We y'all, I don't know if you guys follow, but pretty sure you do. We're just here to make racing and let's talk about kart racing. And we kind of dabbled in other ones. Last week we had a late model driver on that went out to the Gateway, which
Mhm.
is great. And I kind of got his perspective. He's opening up a track here in Ohio, so I think the sport is growing.
Yeah.
We've got, that's like the second or third track that I have heard of since the end of last year, our race season this year, that
Yeah.
was opening up. There's another one that we're trying to work on getting them on.
Mhm.
Hopefully after January,
Yeah.
um, I'll sweet talk them on. But another track here in Ohio, two brothers
Yep.
down in outside in between Chillicothe and Circleville. We're talking to those guys, and they're going to be on the show next week to
Yep.
give us some information on their track
Sweet.
Mhm.
and what
Nice.
they do and their rules. And I know they do a big race for I do believe it's ALS, but don't hold me to that. But I think it's ALS
Yeah.
that they do a
I,
race for.
I believe I heard that as well, that they do a big benefit races and
Right.
stuff like
So
that. And if anybody does anything charitable like that, you know that I want to back them
oh
because
yeah,
I
100%,
love
man.
charitable organizations that reach out to the community and give back. So
Right.
yeah, you have my whole support.
Yeah, I heard they did that. So I kind of reached out to them. It was last week, and then I got
Mhm.
Shane to get a hold of him to try to
Mhm.
get him on schedule because Shane's doing all of our scheduling for the show, which is
Mhm.
helpful. I just
Mhm.
get to sit here and pilot the damn thing, and like he actually gets to do all the hard work. But
Yeah.
well, all right, John, where you been all year, man? We kind of we get to see a little of you, but we didn't see you in a cart this year. So we're all sitting here tuned in, wanting to know where is John Gardner been at all year long?
Yeah. This year, I decided to take this year off, do some self building, some working on myself a little bit as a person, as a dad, as a husband, and then also as a disciplinary action because I have uh, a boy that races with us that we have an agreement, and if you don't meet those requirements, you won't race. And by doing that, it'll affect other people as well. And so that's what it is. It's kind of work on myself, but also at the same time teaching a lesson. We did come and watch a couple of them, and visit a couple times, but as hard as it was, as many times I looked out in the garage while I was working on my other projects, I'm sitting there like,
Yeah,
how easy it would be just to put some gas in this thing and go. But
And how many
right.
times I tried really, really hard to get you in there.
oh, he tried. He tried. And I even, there was a couple times I was like, hey, hon, they're having a, never mind.
Right. Hey, man, you got to stick to your guns, right? It was a
That's it.
disciplinary thing. I get it. I applaud you, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
you know what I mean. Trevor, so you made it to a good ton of races this year.
Yeah, decent
So
bit.
let fill us in on how your race season went this year.
It honestly flew by pretty quick, so it's kind of hard to recall it all, to be honest with you. I think it went pretty well. We had a pretty good year. I mean, it was just like any other year. We had good times. We had won a few races, and we broke some stuff, of course. But I think in general it was a good year overall, and I think it's just something we're looking forward to again, obviously. And yeah, I think it was a good year.
So what was your biggest accomplishment do you think this year that you had? Besides having the baby in February, we're talking about your racing.
Yeah, racing related, I guess. I'm not too sure. Just making more memories with some people that I enjoy being around with and racing with. Really, is I mean, win or lose, it's not too big for me. I like winning, but also losing teaches you a good bit. But we're also not. I'm not there. I'm not there to win, especially. I know I'm not going to win every night, so I'm just really there to have fun, make some laps with some people, enjoy a little bit of time away from work and the outside world and everything, and hang around your people and turn some laps, because that's what that's what we like to do, obviously. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I was
good, Shane.
no, I was just saying I was honestly really surprised the amount of races that you was able to come to at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
considering, with the new baby and stuff like that, because um, a baby, it's you don't want to leave that first
Nah.
baby side at all.
No.
You never do that first baby. It's just there's just something that you just don't want to leave.
No.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome
for
that we
sure.
got to
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I made it through a good bit for sure in the beginning of the year. We had a lot going on with the baby. Then also we were getting our house ready and everything too. So I was really surprised I made it to as many as I could. But we kind of just worked out that way. It was with everyone's schedule and stuff, with the way we work and stuff. So yeah, we made it to a good bit of races. And then obviously when we did have Emery, you could tell I wasn't at the races as much, as probably made it to only a handful after that, and that was good. I did enjoy all that time, and I still do. So.
Yeah.
Well, she even made it to the racetrack. What?
Yes. Yeah.
No, she came by like once or twice, yeah, something like that.
Twice? Yep. She didn't stay during the races, but she come
No,
enjoyed her daddy and her Paul and
yeah, some
Uncle
pre-race.
Shane in the pits and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amanda and all this, out there and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
yeah,
So,
she's getting older, and we're gonna be able to take her out now. She's gonna enjoy the track, hopefully. If not, we're gonna make sure we can work that into her.
Yep.
yeah. Hopefully, we'll get her going at some point in time in her life if she likes it, and get her.
Yeah.
What's Mama think of that?
I don't think she'll have an issue with that. No, it's up to her, whatever she wants to do. You know what I mean? So that's how we are at the moment. So when anything she has an interest in too, we're gonna lean into that and explore it. So
Gotcha.
Take her into it. It's worth it.
Yep.
She loves cars right now and everything. She loves playing with like little monster trucks at the babysitter at her mother and her grandma's. So yeah, I could see she has a little bit of a car side to her. So I could see some racing or something related, in the future maybe. So we'll see.
Nice.
It's in the blood.
Yeah.
So, John, go to you. Are you planning on racing this upcoming season, or
I'm planning on racing more this year than I've ever raced. In the last 4 years, I've taken 2 out of 4 years. I was off for a year, came back a year, off last year, this year, and next year I plan on hitting with a vengeance.
What about your boy? Is your boy going to run?
He plays his cards right. He's watching me right now. Ryan, better get together, son.
There you
That's-
go, man.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right, Ryan.
Yeah,
I tell you what, that boy's come a long ways. At the end of the day, he's a 15-year-old, but I mean, he's come a long way. He's done a lot of things that I'm awful proud of him, to be honest.
That's
Good.
awesome.
You're a dad, and Shane, you're a dad, Trevor, you're a dad now. But I think what separates us three is ours. Well, yours and mine, John, are at that age or past that age of being a teenager and 15. You too, Shane. You got one year and graduate. So
Yeah.
From perspective for me is when we're out there racing, it's nothing a prouder moment than seeing him run. Obviously, I mean, building the memories and us doing what we do and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's great as a father, and I'm with you. I can't be no more prouder than my son. So I get what you're saying. It truly from the heart, what I mean, for you to say. And Patty, man, I mean, coming from the side, again, I mean, it was probably like a broken record here on this show, but we've seen day one of the Mahler racing family come into the racing with a wrench and a cart and some bad tires. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And everybody as a whole, Trevor, me, you, John, we all went over there and helped them, and
Took us in.
took us in, and I mean it's a big family, and look at them now.
Yep.
They're
I
like
think
3 or 4 carts deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the the Richard Childress of racing over there, man. They got everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Trevor and I. We each got our own, and then
Yeah.
you and your boy. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot there. So, I mean, what's everybody looking forward to in 2025?
honestly, I miss the fellowship, the friendships at the track. There's not. I can't think of anybody I really don't get along with at the track, and that's one thing I've explained to my wife. And when you go, kind of reminds me when I was in the military. People don't understand it that are on the outside of it, but when you're there and you're with those people, you become very close, very bonded, and it's the same thing at the racetrack. It's a level of friendship, a level of bonding that you don't get from a lot of people at work or people in passing by. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know right now if I called Shane or if I called you, be like, hey, listen, my carb's trash, and I don't have time to get one in here. Somebody's going to cough up a carb. Ben's done it. He's done it. Brian, the owner of Jug Run, he's done it. I mean, everybody helps everybody. You know what I mean? If I have something somebody needs, they can use it or have it, whichever,
Oh yeah. Oh,
And,
for
and
sure.
that's just because, like you said, at the end of the day, we're not there to win money. We're not there to get a big trophy.
Mm-mm.
The best part of it is watching kids grow, watching kids have fun, and us having fun with them. And that's it. That's it.
Trevor,
Absolutely.
what's your 2025 outlook going to be like? What do you want? I mean, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, just getting to race again, like I said, in kind of the beginning. I mean, my favorite part is just racing with everybody and just being at the track. You know what I mean? So I just look forward to that. Really, I'd like to win a few because it's a tough class and stuff that we race in, and it's fast. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I just want to make some more memories and race with some friends and get outside of work and everything else. You know what I mean? And just be in that atmosphere and just hang out. So that's what I'm big. That's what I'm most looking forward to, obviously, and I'm gonna try and make as many as I can to this year. We'll see what happens with Emory and stuff and whatnot, but yeah, that's what I'm excited for sure.
Yeah.
Shane, what are you looking forward to, man? I mean, you got a whole adventure in front of you down there.
Yeah.
Because I can't even help you. I mean, I don't know it all. By far do I know it all, but
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know what to even tell you down there. I mean, I know it's going to be on clay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they run treaded tires or slicks. I mean, I have no idea. I heard treaded tires is a whole new ball game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
probably.
I don't know, man. You're going to be our perspective on the inside, looking outside for us. You know what I mean?
Well, I've already kind of reached out to some of. There's a few tracks like in the town that we're looking to be in. I don't know if people are listening, but we're going to be in just outside of Savannah, Georgia, is where we're going to be. A little town called Statesboro, and we found a couple tracks actually around that town. I reached out to them and stuff like that. They responded back to me and says, "Oh yeah, awesome. Come on out, try the track out and stuff like that." So I'm really looking forward to going and visiting. Couple of the tracks that I did see, they start their new season in February.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. So
you'll be racing before us.
So yeah, they start in February, and the plan for our race team is that my daughter Adeline is going to keep my cart here in Ohio, and she's going to run it up here, and then I'm taking her cart with me to Georgia because you all here know we had some fits with that cart. It's a brand new cart, and we had a lot of fits with it. So and her driving style and mine are very similar. If I like it, she likes it. She likes it. I like it. So if I could take it down there, get it set up, so when she comes down and she can hop in it and not skip a beat and go out there and run in it. So that's our plan for the 2025 5 season, a little bit. I really can't tell you until I actually see what's out there. And trust me, once I see what's out there, you're all going to be the first to know.
So I have a question. Have
Yeah.
you looked and see if they are clone or are they predator?
Well, so they do run kind of very similar to what's
what
up
we do?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the 350s, the stocks. They have the clone series and stuff like that. But as you said earlier, when it comes to like the trends and stuff like that, I really didn't investigate enough, I guess, when it comes to that aspect. But just of right now, I just need eyes on the track, eyes
Right.
there, and visit them and see them and stuff like that. So that's one of the first things I'm going to do when I get down there is scope out the track scenery.
John, what class are you gonna run this year?
I'm probably gonna be running a couple of them, just depending on which motor's running that week. Anybody knows me knows I like using all used old parts and everybody else is getting rid of. So I'll just work it. Probably going to stick with a lot of super stock this year. That's my newest motor. I've got another one that still in the box. I haven't even touched it yet. I need to build that thing. I just haven't got around to it. But I got a couple, stock ones that are running pretty good too. So I guess I'm probably going to start super stock. That way I can play around with the mods a little bit. I'll get whooped, but it'll still be fun.
Trevor, you're going to stick with mod, obviously. I'm taking it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll race whatever you put me in. So
Whatever I put you in.
hey, sometimes mine don't run, sometimes yours don't run. Whatever we got to get in,
How many times last year did I see that yellow 740 out there run race, just hang out for a minute, jumps, change drivers out, and they go right back out.
Oh, dude, this is the thing. So, like, I am not going to lie. Me and Ben, when we did that, Ben and I looked at each other and we both almost held hands because we were like, I don't know if it's going to hold because that is a lot of laps for a mod to go out there and run his races, then turn around and get my big ass in the thing and me run it is not, as hard, if not harder than him. And Ben and I were both just sitting there, praying that the thing held. It held, but then it finally gave up. It just said, "You guys, you just put me way too bad." You know what I mean? So,
didn't you win a race, Trevor? Doing it?
Yeah,
didn't you guys win one race by doing that though?
Yeah, I think I ended up coming out with like one.
That's
weekend,
what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
we put a lot of laps on that motor.
Yeah.
I actually think it was even the first race that I had to swap. That I had to jump out and jump into his. I feel like it may have even been that specific race.
Okay.
Man, we just hurt that motor.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that thing had. Well, I ran it all season prior to that, the season before that, and then we moved Trevor up to mod because he was running super stock, wasn't that right, Trev? And then we decided to move him up to mod because Ben got this crazy ass idea that he was going to build Trevor this insane Frankenstein motor, and he was like, "We're going to put Trevor in it, and have Trevor drive it," and so he built this thing and we put it on Trevor, and then Trevor kept, I think it was, what was it? Push rods. We had problems with push rods.
Yeah, we
had
issues once or twice for sure.
Yeah. And then, I'd raced that thing all year prior and then raced it all this year running up to that. And then now it's playing double duty for like 3 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then even Kathy, Jared's mom, came up to me. She's like, that thing is not going to last. It lasted like 4 more weeks, man. We were like, holy cow, this thing, holy shit. I can't believe it. And Ben and I looked at each other after it gave up and it finally it said it was done. We just like, well, we didn't expect that. So we did something right. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is. And
yeah. So I got a question here from Jared Ellswick here real quick for all of us and stuff like that. He just asked, since we all have raced at Jug Run and we've raced there, he wanted to know what are some of the things you guys see. Let's see here. Look at this. Since you guys race a lot there, what are some of the things you guys like to see different or you would like to see happen in the 2025 season out there at Jug Run?
I'll throw something on that.
I'll go last.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go John, Trevor, and Phil, and then myself.
All right. Well, so here we all know how it is. Those guys down there do a phenomenal job with that track. I don't care anybody I've ever heard say that they've had a problem with that track. That's horrible. They do a great job with that track. And especially with where it's at, as many times that thing's been flooded over. I've seen that thing be underwater one day and we're racing on it the next day. With that being said, we also know that toward the end of the night, that is a one lane track, one groove track, maybe 1.5. Okay. What I would like to see is maybe during heats, bump some cones out or something. Make us run that top side early on in the night. And then when you get down to the features, open that bottom side up. Let us tear it up that way. Let us go out there, and that way the bottom's going to run. That top will be dusted off already because that's where everybody's going to be running anyhow. And it may not work for anything. It may be an awful idea, but I'm curious to see how it work out.
Experiment a little bit.
I agree with that. That's a great idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah.
I mean, that goes back to what I kind of did at River Valley. Shane,
yes. We did.
When I did that race down there in River Valley, that's kind of what I did there. But I like that idea, John. Trevor?
I mean, that's kind of a tough question. Also, I don't. I mean, there's not a whole bunch. I think they can really. I mean, there's always room for improvement, obviously, in anything you do or have. That's pretty tough. I mean, I think they just do a really good job over there in general. I mean, I think just experiment. I mean, at this point, I think just kind of do a little bit of experimenting, like John said, make us run the top lane to kind of dust it off, because that is one thing I kind of would like to try is use the whole track. We have the whole track there. Let's try and use it as much as we can. At least I would like to be able to as well. So I mean, I'd say just try and experiment a little bit. I mean, it's your track. You guys already do a phenomenal job. I mean, you can't really hurt much if you just do a little bit of experimenting, I think, and just see what happens. And they know best, I think. I mean, they've had the track for how many years, what I mean? So I think they'll kind of understand and know how to approach things or what they can or try to do or experiment with. Because, I mean, honestly, I don't know what they could really experiment with by any means, but I just think they do a phenomenal job in general. There's really not anything I can complain about or anything like that. So I think if I had to say something, I would say just experiment a little bit. Don't be afraid to do that. Because I think you guys already do a phenomenal job, and you can't really hurt it from where it's at now. I mean, it'd be really hard to hurt it.
Yeah, it'd be really hard. Shane, what do you got?
Well, as you both stated that they do an amazing job. The track is always ready for us to race. I mean, it really is. And if it isn't ready, they will take the time to push the races further and further back in the afternoon until it's at that perfect moment to race. And as for changes, improvements, there's really not much, as you guys stated, as in what could they do different and stuff like that. What my thing could happen at really any track is that gap between you leaving a beginner's class to you being in a stock class. There's a huge gap in between the two. If you're like 15 years old and you're ready to get out of that beginner's class, you're jumping in there with the big dogs almost immediately. I don't know if there's any way to put something in between the two.
Like a juniors class?
Like a juniors class. I mean, but then you're like, okay, what age group are you going to be in that class, or years experience? As I said, that I don't know. If it's something that they could figure out, they're going to be ahead of the game between every track in the area. If you can find that gap between your 15-year-olds and your 30 to 45-year-olds, because honestly, I don't know if I want my 15, 16, 17-year-old out there if they're running a stock class out there running with those guys, because sometimes we've all seen some of them carts flip, thrown over and red card.
Yep.
And if it was my kid out there, I'm gonna be terrified. So that's just me. If they could make it happen, I think that would be amazing, and they would be ahead of any track that we've all been to, because they don't have anything. I
Well,
think.
Shane, I'll tell you, buddy. I tell you, this is where you guys come into play because we're trying to reach out. You guys are trying to reach out to younger kids as well and build
Mhm.
up that. I think that, with just from the last couple of years, we've had some kids there, I think it's going to be a lot easier to do something like that
Mhm.
when they get more kids in there, then they can create class. Otherwise, they're going to be running a bunch of 1 and 2 and 3 cart races. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is a big jump there, though.
There is a big jump, and as I said, it's something that is almost very, very hard to do. It is a very hard thing to do,
Mhm.
because you say if you call it a beginner, I mean not a beginners, but a rookie class, you run that risk of having somebody like either any four of us saying, "Oh, we're a beginner,"
Right.
and go out there and just blow them all out of the water, knowing full well we're no beginners.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know how you police that type of thing, but if you could figure it out, then that's pretty freaking awesome. Just as I don't know, to me, jumping from an advanced kids class, running up a restrictor plate or something, and then going to a non-restrictor plate with adults, it's just, I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I think okay. So Jug has the beginners class and the advanced kids class, right?
Right.
Correct, and
So
a lot of
what?
tracks do. A lot of
Okay,
tracks do.
okay. So what I'm saying is if people are worried about their advanced kids may be just a little bit too advanced for the advanced class,
Hmm.
how about you start a rookie class
Yes.
where you have from 13 to 16
Hmm.
that's your rookie class,
Hmm.
and they run a series, a
Hmm.
season or two, and then they devolve and go into the full blown
Stock class.
SWAT class
Yeah,
with
stock
the
modified or
faster guys. Yeah,
just stock.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then they can choose from
Hmm.
there. Um, I suggest not going from that to like a mod class.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would say go work your way up.
Yeah, you got to work your way up. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because like mods are just a whole different animal. Even super stock is a whole new other animal.
they are. They are.
So I mean, I would say put like a rookie class. The only bad thing about that is to have that class, you got to have at least 3 or 4 that will be there every week to run it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's really hard to not only create a class like that, but then you also got to be able to police the class and knowing
Yeah.
that they are a rookie and not seasoned, because you can have a Billy Bob Joe who's been racing everywhere realize they have a rookie class, and you always have that one who just wants to
Well,
cheat the system to
Well,
win.
you have the same thing in the stock class though.
You do,
well,
you do,
You
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 do.
you 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 have Billy Bob from down the road that goes to whatever track down the road, and he's allowed to to port and polish ahead there. He
Mhm,
comes here, you know what I mean? I mean,
mhm,
I mean, what I think, I love Jug. I love everything they do. I'm with you guys.
mhm,
I would love to be able in the mod class be able to run that high side to get a run off that
mhm,
high side because I
hmm
think that track is fast enough with 1 to 2 lanes. I cannot
mhm.
imagine having a third on the high side and be able to
Oh,
run. That would be
yeah.
incredibly insane to run off that high side.
might have to
And
put
I
catch
think
fences up.
I think you would have to because I think the mods would. There is some guys in these mod classes that run there at Jug that are just stupid enough to try it, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and
and
I can
and
tell you, there's another guy that I'm really close with, and I know he's crazy enough to do it too.
mhm,
And I'm just saying that would be insane to be able to run that high side. I've tried it, and every time I go up that high, it just loses it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
What about you,
but
Phil?
I'd just like to see the high side come in a little bit better on that track. And you know my stance on this. I would love to see a points race there. I
Mhm.
love for them to put a series there like once a month or every couple times a month for mods or super stock or whatever, and have a point series there and crown a jug run champion for each class at the end of the year.
Mhm.
I think that's great. And what I think that brings to that track is you're going to have people that are invested. If I'm going to
Mhm.
run for points, I'm going to be there every week because I'm not going to give up points.
No.
Especially if I'm running, I don't give a shit if I'm running for a trophy at the end of the
And
year. I'm going to be there because I
yeah.
want my points. You know what I
Limes-
mean?
Limestone
And,
Valley does that.
and
Yeah.
I would think a points, you're bringing people back every week. Every time you have that points race, you're bringing those guys back because they don't want to give up points. They want to be track champion. And I think that would be great across the board for Jug Run. I mean, you're building your program, you're building your identity, it's just badass. I mean,
Mhm.
how many people that we're all friends with at Jug can sit there and say, hey, man, last year I won the points championship and I got a #1 plate on the back of my cart, and now everybody's gunning for me the next year.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
Here's
You
the
know
one
what I
thing you
mean?
have to think about, though, which, and I like what you're saying, but here's what you're going to have to think about. If there's going to be something like points, so now we're no longer racing. I mean, you're still racing for fun, but now there's
Yeah.
something to it. That means we're going to have to bring in tech.
How
And
do you
then,
take a mod? How do you
what's
take a
it?
mod? How do you take a mod? A mod
Well,
class.
mod's not so much, but if you're going to run points at anything
Right,
other than mod, stocks,
right. But
super stocks.
you're 100% right. But what I'm saying is you start it somewhere. So you start it as a run, right? First year,
Mm-hmm.
let's try it. You got the 250 mod and you got the regular mod class.
Mm-hmm.
Those right there, we're going to start right there and we're going to run for points. And how you're going to do it, you're going to for how you qualify, which is a pill draw. You get 5 points for showing up and signing a book, right? You get those points, and then wherever you finish at in your heat, you get X amount of points, and wherever you finish at in your feature, you get X amount of points. You have to test it somewhere, and then once you figure out all the bugs and how you're going to do it, then you start branching out into your other classes. And then you're right.
Yeah.
When you go to stock, you have to tech.
Yeah.
You have to tech it.
You
And
have
then
to.
you go to super stock, you have to tech it. And
And I'd say if
it can
anybody's
be
going to
done,
do it,
but
anybody's
this
going
is
to
the
be able to
thing.
make it work, it'll be the mods.
It could be done because last year we had our very first ever money race at Jug Run, and it went off without a hitch. There was no
It was good.
problems. There was no hiccups. There was nothing. Nothing was wrong. And they teched the winner. They teched the first 3 winners of each class. There is nothing wrong with it. They all
No.
passed.
Yeah, they did.
So what is wrong with that? What is wrong if you're a feature winner? You take your crap to the building, right? If you're the winner, you're the first one to get tech. Guess what? If you're caught cheating, you're eliminated. You're out of the series.
Hmm. And
Then you take
just like
second place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it will be a work in how to define it and stuff. But I think you
Sure.
would have to really start with your mod class to get it down, to get it kind of dialed in, and then branch it out. Then go to your super stock, dial that one in because your mod's already done.
yeah.
And then you dial your super stock in, then you branch out and you go and you do your stock class. I mean, we're all there to have fun,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And we were all there to create memories and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But also at the other chance too, we're all kids on the inside, right?
Yeah.
And we all think that we're all the Tony Stewarts and we're all the Kyle Larsons of the racing world, and we all just want to get that out of us. And what other way are you going to do it? I mean, I would love to be able to win a race and come to, and you're in my class, John, and come up and say, I put an ass whipping on you this weekend, but next weekend you come to my trailer and do the same thing. Now it's a battle back and forth. You know what I mean? And it's a love battle because you don't know
Yeah.
who's going to win it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just like the Weiland family. Those three people that race those karts are phenomenal racers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what drives me in my class is Ben and Todd and Howard. That is a
Yeah.
tough ass class to run in.
Yeah.
They're fast. And then you go down to Trevor's class, you got Wyland girls in that class. You got Ron Real. I mean, that class is crazy. Those two classes are nuts. You just don't know who's going to win. And you can't say, well, my money is on this, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I do like that what you're talking about, like, starting with the mods and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because you guys, that class is also too, you've got, it's a kind of like a smaller, close knit type of family, group of people.
Yes.
Also too, because you're not dealing with 30 to 40 carts coming out on that track.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, and you see
Yeah.
the same mod guys there every week. You know what I mean? It's the same guys every week that are there.
That's it. You're 100%, John. You see the same mod people there all the time. You might, I mean, some of us might show up, some of us might not, but they're, for the most part, throughout the 30 some races that we have there, it's the same mod class. And we're all family, and we all will help each other. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, I broke twice last year without Trevor being there, and I had 4 mod people come up to help. You know what I mean? So I just think it brings it closer together, and it's fun. It's a fun thing, and it's just bragging rights. That's all it is. Everybody wants that number 1 plate on the back of their cart, and everybody wants to gun for that number 1 spot. I think it's great. And also, I think they need to bring back the ghost class. I think that class is fun. I think
somebody's talking about that already.
I think
I like that class. I wish it would have grown a little bit more. I think that they gave up on it just a little bit too quick, but I think that class is a fun class. They're fast for what they are, but now they've been out for 2 years. So now you have to really watch that class, because now you can buy mods for that class.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, so now you have to watch, but I think that's a fun class. I really do. I think that is a fun class to watch. And I wish they would bring it back. And I wish more people would get into it, because I think that class would be a great stepping stone to go into mod class.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too. And also too, with those, there's not much you really can tinker. I mean, you can.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I mean, you can. Yes, you can. Yes. But they're already come out of the box.
They're fast. That was Predator's answer to Tillison and Clone.
Well, now speaking,
you know what I mean? I mean, that was their answer to really Clone. That was their answer to Clone motor. And what they wanted to do, they wanted to take them and get to road racing courses with that motor, and that was their answer. But it sets, and it's faster to be on dirt than it is on that class.
Now,
so I just think that's a really good class, and I think you can build on that class, and I think you can put people in that class that want to move to mod or open, because I like to see open come back. And I think that's a good stepping stone. I think you need to go in there and you need to run a season in that class before you can go to mod.
I had a really good son. You brought up Tillison and stuff like that. I had another question here from John over at River Valley, talking about building of mod motors. Honestly, since we're talking about mods and stuff like that, you brought up Tillison and stuff like that. He was asking, like, what are some of the better motors to build your mod motor out of? Like, what do you? I wouldn't say what is the best, but what do you guys prefer? I should say.
I prefer a Tillison, because Tillison has a little bit more clearance on the inside. You can go a little bit bigger. If you're going to build a stroker, you want to go to a Tillison.
Okay.
It just has better. It has better displacement. It has more room. It has more clearance. Now, if you're going to go to mod, you're going to build a Tillison, you're on that verge. You can take that motor on the verge of being an open motor or a mod motor. So, I mean, you can go in either direction you want to go. Do you really want to spend the big money to go open? Because open is very expensive.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big things now, is just trying to keep it where it is, still probably like men's one. I think that's where they do things really well at these tracks around here, especially is keeping it low enough cost where everybody can enjoy it, and then those who want to go nuts, go nuts.
Well, I mean, let's face it, man. I don't have $5,000 to go build a Jawa motor for an open motor. I'm not going to do it. I mean, that's just stupid. When you're going to take it out there and you're probably going to blow it up in 2 laps, right? And you're not. And yeah, they have to be great and fun to drive, but just not me. I like where I'm at. I like building the Tillotson, but Honda has a great block too. It just depends on where you want to go. I mean, if I'm going to build a nice mod motor that I know that's going to last, and that I have proven it to last for 2 years, and that's going to be a Tillotson.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get anything from Tillotson, but I'm telling you, my motor that Trevor and I hot lapped for 8 weeks was a Tillotson block, and it lasted the year before and all last year until the last 7 races.
You know anybody that's got any Predators that they had modded or made a mod out of?
There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them. They're good, but they just don't. You can't take them past where Tillotson can take them.
You
know what I mean, that's my personal preference, and by far, I'm not a professional guy, but I'm telling you, for everything that I see from working with Ben and Howard and all these guys, man, they're running Tillotsons or Hondas. We don't run Briggs and Stratton here, you know what I mean? And some do run a small end Predator, and they go really big on the head and really big on the carburetor, because that's where most of your power comes in is the head and carburetor work. So you can go either way you want. It's whatever is affordable for you to get out there and run. By chance, go do it. You don't know. You might have a guy out there that has a 336 Tillotson after he's done with it, and he can put the power. He's got all the power in the world, but he can't put it to the track.
Right.
So a guy with a smaller engine with the stock internals, but a big head and a small car and a bigger carburetor, he can probably outrun him. Mm-hmm. That's what's exciting, because that's what makes it exciting when you're points racing, because you don't ever know. If Trevor would ever branch off on his own and he start building his own stuff and start doing his things, you know what I mean? He might come to track with a mod motor with stock internals on a Predator block, and he might outrun all of us. The track's just that good. That track's that way that night. You know what I mean? He might do that for 6 weeks. You know, it just depends on what your budget is, how much you want to spend, and how you want to do it. If you want a big mod motor, a big mod motor, you're going to go Tillotson, and you're going to go a bigger, longer stroke, and you're going to go a big head, and you're going to go a really big carburetor, and then you're going to go out there and you're going to break stuff. Then it happens all the time in mod. It happened. I don't care who you are.
And then you go and say, like, you go run at a smaller track. You've got all that wasted power, because you can go out there and a regular stock and almost keep up with all that money you threw into a motor.
Perfect example was the day was Halloween Havoc out there. You know, I didn't even take my mod motor out there. I took a super stock motor, which is Trevor's old super stock motor that he ran for 2 years, Trevor?
Yeah.
I put that out there, and I flew around that track. Trevor took his mod motor out there, and he had complications. His throttle broke, but he hand drove that thing around that track, and he spun out when you knew that he gave it too much power.
Yeah.
Everybody else was on a smaller motor. So that's what I'm saying. It's proven right there that you don't have to have the biggest to win races.
And that's that's one of the things I love about dirt track racing too, is, you race on asphalt, you race on, concrete, you kind of know where your track's going to be. You race on dirt, that track's going to be different this week than it is next week. And with that being said, there was one time I went out with the modifieds, and Ben actually talked me out, taking my little baby super stock out there. And I ended up finishing 3rd place right behind Brian, but they didn't have enough riders that night. It was kind of a slow night. And Ben obviously was first. Brian was not far behind him, and I was right on Brian's bumper, and I had my super stock out there. With the modified, they were just breaking traction. I was able to hook up a little bit better, and that's why I say, you can do so many things, but there's so many variables as well. You got to look at all of that.
Well, I got the perfect example for you guys right now. My mod was a 336 is what it came out to be. Okay, it went from a 212 to 336. Trevor's is all on stock internals, stock crank, stock piston, stock crank rod,
stock push rods either,
and stock push rods. And he went out there and he runs mod. And I'm telling you, at points in time of this season, he was able to keep up with some of the fastest out there, like Ron.
Oh yeah,
he was right on Ron Reel's ass. He passed Ron Reel for the win this year.
I was still competitive on a budget built Predator that was modified.
Cost us to build that motor for him? $300. That's what it cost us to build that motor. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The head has been worked on. Okay, but it has stock internals. Stock push rods. The only thing we did, we put chrome moly push rods in it. Am I lying, Trevor?
After I snapped them.
After we snapped the original one, we put chrome moly ones in there. So it is proven that you can have the smallest motor with the smallest displacement. I bet you he's probably only pushing 19 horsepower.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe 20 compared to mine, 28 to 30 something, 32, 33 horsepower. It's unbelievable. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's not. You got to take in consideration. It's not all about the size. You got to learn how to read the track, how to drive the track. So it comes down to the track and driver.
How many times did you this year? We was sitting there just figuring out gears. Figuring out your gears.
For me, are you talking to me or Trevor?
Well, all of us, really.
So, that's what's so different in mod class. The gears are totally different than what it is for you guys in stock.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally.
Like I'm not going to tell you what I run at Jug because I don't want nobody to know what I run at Jug. But I'm telling you that gear is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, my front driver is a 12 driver.
I don't want to talk about my front driver.
So I mean, you're John Ammer's horse wheel, but I'm just saying, like I don't know, man. Like I don't think you need all this horsepower. It's just I went radical because it was kind of two crazy lunatics got together one day in somebody's shop. And they're like, wonder how big we can take it. So we just got online and we just start ordering stuff, and that's what my motor came out to be. Radical.
So I did have a question real quick. So with your guys, since all three of you guys, I'm a stock guy. I run stock. I like stock. I'll probably be stock for a very long time because I just love that class. But for you mod guys, what is the RPMs usually that your mod motors run? What's your target points? Where are you at on your RPMs? John, we'll start with John, Trevor, then Phil.
Mine's a super stock. I try not to go past $7,000 on mine. I try to keep it right around 7. That's it.
What about you, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean that modified Predator that we had was stock internals. I mean, I was pushing well into the 8,000 RPMs and pretty reliably, honestly. Like I said, I ran that pretty much all season until I snapped a push rod. But I mean, as far as what RPM I want to see, I don't know what I want to see necessarily. I'm still trying to figure it out, and it changes as much as the track changes as well. So as far as my target point, I'm not too sure. I would still like to say between that 7,000 and 8,000 to stay consistent. But I mean, I think I've been up to like 8,500 or something stupid on my tack at one point. But I know I'm into the 8s and we're very well into the high 7s for sure.
Your dad's probably running about $13,000.
That's what Ben just said. Ben just said typed out, mine's running about 13.
No, he said his motors only make about 13 horsepower. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very close with Ben. I mean, he is my besides Trevor and Shane, my ride and die with this. And I've had this conversation with Ben, man, and I've always tried to keep mine somewhere 85, 9,000, but I have seen way up in the tens. I mean, it just I don't know, man. Like it's just some nights that cart likes it really, really high RPM, and some nights it doesn't. You know what I mean? But I've been way up in the tens, way up in the tens. So I mean, and then Trevor gets in it. He runs 85. I don't know how in the hell he does it. You know what I mean?
He don't weigh as much as we do. He don't need as much throttle.
That, and also I don't think he's quite as kamikaze as I am. But I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, that class I run in, man, is just so competitive, man. We're all three competitive guys, or all four competitive guys now, 5 actually, and we're like freight trains running around that track because that track is just so nasty ass fast, and it's I think it brings out the best in all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you kind of got that leader there, Ben, and just kind of pushing us in a certain direction because, I mean, I've talked to Ben privately that we've always wanted that class to grow. And it originally started out with just Ben, Howard, and myself in that class. And now, I mean, it's growing. There's, you know, so.
I know he's tried to get me into a modified. I just can't justify the spend. You know what I mean?
Man, I just love what Ben does with the motors that he builds. I mean, everybody knows, man, he's my guy, right? And I don't know, man. It's just the shit that he comes up with sometimes just absolutely kills me. But
Yeah,
you know, he's like let me say this. So I'm going to go back to when I very first got into this sport. Trevor had bought a really piece of shit chassis off some guy, and it had I could be wrong, but I do believe it had a Briggs and Stratton on it.
It had a quote unquote alcohol Briggs and Stratton, which turned out to be stock internals and everything just jetted.
So he went to a couple racetracks, and we finally went up to Jug Run. And when we went there, we didn't know shit. We didn't know anything, man. I'm not going to lie. We didn't know anything. And first person that came over to us was Ben Weiland. And he has been a great friend. And, I mean, really, truly, man. I mean, I can call Ben right now, and if he has service, and he'll answer the phone, and vice versa. But he is really kind of molded me and Trevor in this way of racing, and I wouldn't change anything about it. And that's why I keep giving it back. And it's, you know what I mean? But I have such a passion for it like he does, and it's great, you know. And the mod class, I'm just a mod guy, ride or die, man. I'm all about experimenting, and I know he is, and I know that Trevor gets to some of the experimental stuff because he's so light, you know what I mean? And we try to figure out things. And I mean, Trevor and I've had this conversation on the way home many nights for an hour. You know, hey man, that was kind of experimental. And you know, he just looks at me like, what? You know, I mean, it's just part of it. You know what I mean? So, but I truly love Jug, and I just I just want it to grow there. I mean, you know.
I know you're listening there, Ben. I'm going to reach out to you one night, and you're going to be on this show with us, okay? Just to let you know. So you're hopping on with us one night. So I want to get you booked on here, all right, buddy?
Real wisdom come in.
You know, another, and Chris Griggs right too. The 250 class, stock class is growed.
Yes.
Because when Ben and I was in that class, man, there wasn't very many people in that class. And then when we moved to mod, that class got a little bit bigger, and it's got a little bit bigger, and it's got a little bit bigger. And that class is going to be a wrecking. I mean, I remember there's been nights there that there was 2 pages, 2 or 3 heats of 250, along with 2 or 3 stock. That's the thing. That's what I like to see. Not mod and super stock's not made for everybody.
No.
It's like you just said, John. You don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
So you're content with running super stock or mod or super stock and stock.
Mhm.
And then you got Shane. He wants to run stock.
I'm running sometimes 3 to 4 carts, and it's
a lot of money when you move up in mod if you got 4
is.
carts, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how Ben does it, but the thing
especially when we're raising half a football team.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, it's insane to me that the amount of time and the amount of money that goes in to doing what we do. It's nuts, man. I like all forms of it. I'm glad to see the 50 class grow. I'm glad to see the kids class grow. I'm glad to see at times that we had 7 or 8 powder puff people running in powder puff.
Oh man,
I've seen the regular mod class have 2 heats. The 250 mod is steadily, constantly 3 people or not more. I'm glad to see that, and I would hope that they would bring back the ghost class. I think it would be fun. I think that really should be a step before you go into super stocker mod. And I think the track is evolving. I think that they've got good people there. Yeah. I think their reputation is going to get better than what it ever has been. You know what I mean? Brian and Kathy worked their ass off, and Jarrett worked their ass off up there to give us a great
they all do
to run. And the hospitality is by far, out of this world. And then you got great people. No matter what the hell you hear, you have great people there.
Yeah.
You have people like Ben has said it 100 million times in the drivers meeting. If you do not know, go to any of the mod or super stock people, they will help you because they've all been there. They all know. We're all changing something every week. So
I'm a product. I'm a product of that, as we said, beat a dead horse. I mean, I showed up with a wrench and a cart, and look at that, we're 4 carts deep. I mean, if it wasn't for your guys' support and help and stuff like that, that would have been our last race. We would not be here if it wasn't for the hospitality, the helping out, and stuff like that. I mean,
Hey man, I'm going to give hats off to Jarrett and Brian, Kathy, and Ben because I mean I promoted my own race last year at River Valley because I didn't want to step on anybody's toes up there at Judd. So I had an opportunity and I took it. And
how hard was that for us, Phil?
It wasn't hard. It was hard for me not to go to Jug and run and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? But what I'm getting at is to pull off an event that we had and race was very difficult.
It was,
very difficult.
And that was one night.
So I don't know how they've got people in the right places to help them, and it's great, but it's tough, guys. If you guys that's never done it, it's tough. It is really hard. I mean,
so what's stopping you right now? Then we were talking about series and stuff. I know this is the other way around. That you guys are supposed to be asking the questions, but I have one.
No, that's just open forum.
What's stopping you? Phil and Trevor. I mean, obviously, I'd say you too, Shane, but you're decided you wanted to be a bulldog instead. So, what's stopping you guys from having the Flat Cart Mafia series?
We talked about it.
Yeah.
We did.
Man, I
We
don't want to give it away because I have this grand ideal. I have this big grand ideal, and I'm not going to lie to you. Ever since I put that race on last year, John, I have I love racing. It's in my heart, right? And I will always race. Put me in anything, I'll race the shit out of it. I kind of like putting the race on.
Yeah.
I kind of like being the promoter and kind of like being the guy behind the scenes and making sure the track is what I want. And I'm giving you guys I'm not working the track, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I want this. You know what I mean? I kind of like that because that's my end goal, man. Honestly, is to put a series, a super stock and a mod series together. That's kind of what I want to do.
we talked
And
about that.
It's being talked about. And my big grand illusion is to grow it, and then I want to have one big giant race at the end of the year, like they do at the Gateway Nationals, but nothing but kart.
Because when we had Blake on here, and we talked with Blake and his experience at the Gateway and how it's different. There's just something about it's different. So Phil and I, we talk constantly. We're bouncing ideas off of each other almost dang near every day, or if not every other day. And Phil came to me and goes, "I want a Gateway. How do we do it?" And I'm like, one, we gotta have a venue that's special, that isn't a jug, isn't a River Valley, isn't a Limestone, isn't a Honda Hills, isn't any of these local tracks that are in our area. It has to be something different. So now that the cat's out of the bag,
right?
Sorry, guys.
Cat's out of the bag. Thank you, John Gardner. Thank you, John. But it's got to be a special place. It's got to be something that isn't ran, isn't what. So we bounce ideas of like, what about fairgrounds?
I was just going to say, I already contacted one fairground.
What about he goes, well, I'd like to do it at the end of the season. Well, then, in Ohio, we all know Ohio weather, which I want out of this Ohio weather, is if it's going to be like an indoor or whatever. Okay, so what place is big enough to do those things? And that's using this platform that we've created, talking to, as Phil mentioned earlier, we've got two brothers Raceway coming on here next week, talking to them about their track. We have Blake
to get down there and try that track
with Thunderbolt, his track he started. I got other tracks lined up. I'm not to have a big head, but I'm booked up with guests until what did I tell you, Phil, about mid-January?
Yeah, mid-January.
Mid-January. So so now that we got kind of like a little platform, that's something that we really want to do, is like an end of the year race where we get everybody who races out at Jug, everybody who races out at Muskingum counties, the Little Muskie, whoever races out of, let's say, Limestone, River Valley. We all come together as one big racing event. How do we do it? Where do we do it at?
Well, I think you gotta look somewhere kind of as central as possible, to make it, so people aren't having to drive from all over. There's a couple places that, here's the hard thing on fairgrounds. I think on fairgrounds, they've got to keep things a certain way. And a good track can be built. But I mean, look at the Gateway Nationals. They built their track within a couple of days. They had been covered in rain, and that track had more whoops than a motocross track in it.
Right.
You have to almost find a place that will allow you to break ground, that will allow you to bed it and roll it in and all that stuff, and then use it once a year, or twice maybe.
Yeah. Well, this is my thinking on this is I've given it a lot of thought, and I think what I'd like to do is find a track that will allow it to happen,
Hmm.
and pick a date and just start promoting it and getting persons together and stuff and do it and then let it build.
Hmm.
Because if you build it,
They
I
will come.
mean, they'll come, right? And
Yeah.
it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm not by far doing this for anything for personal gain or anything. I'm
Right.
doing this because I love the sport and I want it to grow and I want to see. Dude, I'm not even. I want to see people from outside of Ohio.
Yeah. I
Come
want to see
and
kids.
I want to
Right.
see the best of the best to come out there and put on an ass whipping. That's what
Yeah.
I want to see. You know what I mean? And I want
Yeah.
to see the perfect example, and not this. I want to see the guys of Tyler Carpenter era come out there that
Mhm.
nobody knows in karting and come out there and win a damn race.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. And I just keep learning and learning, and I've learned a lot from Ben, and I take everything that him and I talk quite a bit, and I take everything from him and I listen and I come up with my own thing, and that's kind of where I'm wanting to go.
Yeah.
And I
There's
mean,
nothing wrong with that. Not at all.
no, you know what I mean? And then Jarrett asked earlier, what about the 55 lappers and the 80 lappers? They haven't got a whole lot of not very much people have been running in them lately. Should they change it or should they not change anything? What is your guys' thoughts?
Man, I'll tell you what. So a couple years ago, we ran the 80 lapper, and it was huge. I mean, there was a lot of carts. Um, I'm sorry, that was 3 years ago. 2 years ago, it seemed like that there was less people involved in it. And I'll be honest, I think, and this is just me thinking, which we all know can be kind of dangerous, but I honestly feel like a part of that is just because of the time. I don't think it's anything to do with the race and how long the race itself is. I don't think it's about people that don't want to do it. I think it's, once you get done running a full night of racing, and now you've got, hey, anybody want to do this 55 or 80 lapper? And people are looking at their watches. Well, it's this time or this time. It's going to take this much time to get home. Um, I would, and it's a hard thing because I'm not the one shelling out as much money. Like, yeah, I can tell you, I believe 100% that Brian and Kathy and Jared, they shell out more out of their pocket than what they get back in. I believe that 100%. And the other people that volunteered or that help there, do the same thing. As much as I would love to say, hey, let's start earlier in the day. Let's start, let's start races on Saturdays at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then that way we can run the 55 lapper. But now you've got water between every heat or every couple, runs or whatever. And then you have to let that roll in or, roll in and all that. And it's like, that's a lot. You're spending fuel, you're spending all that time. So
you saying that? So would you, me personally, would you pay a separate admission or a separate uh, race fee to jump into an 80 lapper or a 90 lapper if they started the races earlier?
I'll tell you what I would do. I think if you charge people to do it just because they want to, and it's going to be at the end of the night or whatever, I think that's going to scare people.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious.
But
I was just curious.
But that being said,
because you brought up water and the track, the time, and stuff like that.
Well, right. But what I would say, they're talking about doing money races and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Make that your money race. Make that 55 lapper or that 80 lapper your money race.
Ooh.
Promote it a month or so ahead or 2 months ahead or whatever. Say, hey, it's going to be 25, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, whatever they want to make it to get into this race. The house is going to keep this percentage of it for upkeep on the track.
Like that.
This percent's going to go to first, second, third place.
I would definitely go out there. That would be pretty freaking
Because
cool to do an 80 lapper for a money race. That'd
because
be kind of neat.
then people are invested in it. They've got
That's
money in it. Now they want to be there. They need to be there. So
that's
they're not going to back out if they've already paid it.
and then not only that, that 80 lapper, if you put that 2 spin out rolls and stuff like that, it's right out the door.
Yeah.
Those ones, yeah, that I kind of like that idea.
Trevor,
Mm.
what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, honestly. I mean, I was thinking earlier, like, with us just wanting to have fun with racing, it's not about winning any money, and obviously it's not like we're going to be winning enough money to really pay for what we put into it throughout the year, through the season. I mean, what if you did a point series but no payout?
Yeah.
It's still for bragging rights. It's still just as fun. You still got to show up to get your points. It's no different, but you're not taking home any money. And if you do, I don't know. It's just because if you introduce money, that's where some people have some issues. They a little bit more arguments or something. I don't know, but
I kind of like that
thought
idea. I kind of like that idea he has, because now you can do 3 classes of points, and then you know what I mean, and then you can get the stock involved by doing the 55 lap and the 80
the
lap,
longer race.
Races,
Yeah,
and you can accumulate points on that, and then at the end of the year, hey man, everybody's going to be chasing that number 1 tailgate thing on the back of your bumper, and that's what it's all about.
So what you were so I guess, like, in a nutshell, you would run a point system with, like, the mod super stocks. Like, this is hypothetical. This is in a world of, like, if okay. So you're talking like a point system for mods on a normal races, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it like a once a month, or is it every week?
I would do it a couple times a month.
So a couple times a month. And then let's say I'm a stock guy. I like to stock. So then you would turn your 80 lappers or your Ironman races and stuff like that into points races.
Yep.
So to earn points, you got to enter into the 80 lappers, the 50 lappers, or whatever. I like those 80 lappers. They're fun. I did one time. The second one I did, I hit it. I had a pretty bad wreck, and I hurt myself pretty good.
I've
And I didn't finish it.
run in one. I've never been able to run in one because I don't run a stock. So
you use my car, Phil.
But if it comes down to it, I've got a stock motor out there. I mean, if I know I'm going to run in it, I mean, there's nothing to say that I just won't take my mod motor off and throw my stock on and go out and run.
No time after the race, you just swap it around real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I would do that, and I would buy into it, and then I would run in the point series for that also.
I love that idea of the point system being in their bigger, longer races.
Yeah.
If you want to accumulate points, what better way to crown a race champion from a stock class to participate in your longer running races?
And that's why the only reason I really even mentioned anything, because, well, Shane, you and I had talked a while back. Like I said, I don't know about the money stuff. I'm not real, because I think that, could bring some reckless driving.
It does.
My thinking on is, if you're going to get into money races, that would be where I did it.
Yes.
That's just, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. That leaves that door open for points and monies and stuff like that, because it's an endurance race. It really is an endurance race.
I love it because I just go slow and everybody else wrecks, and then I finish in the top 4 usually.
There you go.
Yeah, no, but that's and then it's easy to. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easier, but you could just see out there if that guy's out there spinning, turning, just you're off, you're out, you're gone, and then you're narrowing it down more and more and more. The brilliant, I do love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I chased a sticker. You know what I mean? But I mean,
we all do.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's great, and there's no animosity between anybody running a sticker, right? So, I mean, if you did a points thing, I mean, it's just bragging rights for the guy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's nothing. It just gives everybody to run a little bit harder and a little bit change their driving style and change this, or you know what I mean, and get it going and a little bit more competitive. I mean, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I think some of the most competitive side that probably should have been called for rough driving has been between Ben and I. We have
Mhm.
just been at it. When we
Yeah.
get next to each other, it brings out the best of both of us, and we will just beat and we'll ride each other and we'll run. And I think that's exciting for you guys watching.
Mhm.
It's also exciting for us because it's bragging rights. Like I've been
Mhm.
out there and Ben's come back, and I mean we poke fun at each other, and Ben has put damn dumbass stickers on the front of my truck that Trevor and I drove all the way home with, and I went out the next morning and cleaned them on my truck. And I mean, you know what I mean? That's what I love, and I don't
Yeah.
think that doing a points thing is a bad thing. I think it just brings out the best of everybody, and it brings everybody closer together.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like I don't give a shit if it's John. If you were in mod and you won, and you got the back plate on your rear bumper next year, my goal is to outrun you. And
Mhm.
Ben has said it all along. It is not the guys up front that you need to watch. It's the guys that are behind the front leader, because those are the guys that are trying to race. They're trying to find their line. They're the ones that are really racing to get up front. That's where
Yeah.
the race is.
Yeah.
That's where really, really, honestly, and it clicked
Mhm.
on me when he said that. That's really where the race is. And when you get out front, now you switch
Well,
from that being the race. I got to keep these guys, these crazy assholes behind me.
what we
That's
could
why
do.
I spend all that time in the back. I want people to worry about me.
Well,
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I just think like Jug is on such an uphill right now where they're in a spot where they can change things, and they can do a lot of good and bring a lot of more bring a lot of people
Mhm.
to their track and keep those people, because the way they're swinging, does that make sense? The way
Yeah,
their momentum's heading.
yeah.
I mean, you already have your diehard guys there that are there every week, and I just I don't want I would hate to see them move the races earlier in the day, because one, I love running underneath the lights. That to
Oh,
me, that is just phenomenal that they're able to do that, and they
Yeah.
allow us to do that. I know that's not cheap. Running those lights is not cheap. So I mean, that's why I say, if you, like Trevor said, if you put it as a points part, I think it would bring more people there that would be more interested in running that 50 lapper to 55 or 80, whatever they choose to do.
Mhm.
Because now, yeah, they're running for that sticker, but now they're accumulating points. So now they're going to come back to the next one, because hey,
Mhm.
old
Yeah.
Sammy here might be in first place. He don't want to give up that first, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there's a lot of varieties to that. I think
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a little nature,
Mhm.
and I mean, the the one thing I would love to see them do, and I would love to see hot laps controlled just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is, if you send mods out, let the mods go, okay? But and you when the stock goes out, man, I've watched stock guys go out and run 5 laps, come right back in, get right back in line again.
Mhm.
And if somebody really is making changes, I don't see a problem with that. But just to turn laps,
Yeah.
I mean, you're holding it up. I'd
Yeah. 5
rather
laps and that's it.
start
5
earlier
laps. That's it.
start
Or
earlier. Our intermission go from an hour or 45 minutes. And I know why they're doing it, because I've been a part of it. I am a part of it. It gives, like, if I'm out there flagging, or I'm running a shoot
Mhm.
with Ben, or Ben's running a shoot or whatever, it gives us guys time to address everything. Ben's got 3 carts. I've got 2, or I've got mine when Trevor's not there, or vice versa. So it gives all the people that are helping time to adjust their stuff, and to make the right call. And but I mean, I think if we control the hot laps a little bit better and not make them so damn long, I think
Mhm.
that we would be a little bit better. We wouldn't be racing until 2, 3 in the morning. I
So
mean,
so
it's
how do
barely
we?
3 in the morning, but
So what when we did that little Halloween Havoc and we set it up our way, it was we ran it similar to what they do out at Jug, but
I
just
didn't
kind of
I
we
didn't change
adjusted.
anything, Shane. The
Well,
only
well,
thing I really
we
did is
did we did the hot laps a little different though.
I ran them like Ben tries to do in groups. If you're a stock, you're going out with
But
your stock. If you're mod, you're going out with mods. If you're
but
kids, you're going out with kids.
but you had 5, and then the
5
next
laps.
group
That's
came
all you
out.
got. That's all you
Then
got.
the next group came out,
Yep.
and then the next. So that didn't give a chance for you as a stock or a super stock to get back out there again because the next group was out
Well,
there,
that
and
track's a
then
lot different.
well, it is a lot different, but
That's
yeah.
Jug, you can fit 8, 9, 10 carts out
Oh,
there if
you
you
can fit a
want
lot
to.
more out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So there you got to control it
yeah.
a little bit differently. And by far, I'm not saying mine was the right way.
No, 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 no. I
I
wasn't
just
saying
no, I know. I'm just saying, like I don't. It just happened to work out that way.
it did.
You
It
know what I
worked out
mean?
nice.
And I
Yeah,
stuck to my guns. Like, no, you're not going back out there. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, this is it. This is the way it's going to be ran. And
yeah,
because we had some time restraints too. So
yeah. We did.
I wanted to keep in good graces
Mhm,
with River Valley and John
mhm,
on that one, to
mhm.
keep him in good graces with what he's got going on. And it worked out great. I mean, it just worked out for us.
I know I have a few questions here because we're getting at the hour and 30-minute mark. Real quick, guys, I have a couple questions for all you guys. So going into the 2025 season, I know we're all we run at Jug and stuff like that. Now, is there uh, any other tracks that you would like to go or run at, go try out, go hit up and see what they're like? How about you, John?
There's a few of them. I've actually last year I was going to try and get down there and I didn't get to, but Two Brothers is one I wanted to try. See what that's like. I've been wanting to try out Cridersville. I got a buddy of mine from the Marine Corps who races there. He loves it out there. It's a little bit of a hike, but it's one I'd like to eventually try out. And then Little Muskie I'd like to try, and Little Eldora.
Give me the info on that one, the second one you mentioned.
Cridersville.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
When we get off here, give me their information. I'd like to get in contact with them. What about
Yeah.
you, Trevor?
I'm not too sure, honestly. I mean, the Thunderbolt one I seen, they were making some posts originally. I was like kind of interested to see what that was all about.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who they were at the time, or I didn't know that guy until you guys really talked to him and everything.
Great dude.
Yeah, no, it was a good
Cool.
podcast and everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm really just any track, I guess. I mean, anything is kind of just within a good driving distance. It's not ridiculous, I mean, I'm willing to go try. So yeah, like you were talking about, there a lot of them are opening up. A lot of new ones, or it seems like a lot of new ones. So and we might be having a whole bunch more to try out here sometime soon. But really, I don't know. I'm kind of a guy of it gets real comfortable. I like to stay in my lane, in my place. So I like to go to Jug all the time.
Yeah.
Too, so.
And don't let him lie either. It's wherever Dad and the trailer go.
The dad trailer goes. Yeah.
Yeah, if the trailer's heading somewhere, I'll head there most likely.
Yeah. What about you, Phil?
I'm like Trevor, man. I am kind of get content where I'm at, and I've talked to Ben earlier a couple weeks ago, so I'm not going to say anything, but I will probably spend a lot of my time out at Jug. I will probably here or there go to a couple other little ones. I'm sure some of us will probably get together maybe this year and go to Little Muskie again because they run on Fridays. That leaves Jug open. Thunderbolt runs on Friday, so you never know what will, but I mean, I'm really happy to work with Jug and get my foot in the door with them and Ben and Jarrett and be a part of that. And this diehard Jug guy, man, kind of. And whatever River Valley comes up with, if they ever want us back out there, then I'll probably go there once, maybe. I enjoyed going there. It was fun.
It was a fun track.
Yep, good fun track, fast track.
Yeah, I know.
I think with me, that's kind of like one of my flaws is, anytime I've ever gone anywhere other than Jug, I felt like I was cheating.
We talked about that, Phil, didn't we, a little bit?
Why is that? Because I felt the same way. Like,
I felt like I was cheating on him, and I felt horrible.
yeah, I felt horrible. Like, it wasn't this last year, but the prior year, Ben called and we all a bunch of us mod guys ended up at Little Muskie, and it was fun. But I was like, man, this is weird. Friday night, I felt weird because I was like, man, what in the hell? But yeah, I felt like I was cheating on them. You know what I mean? And then I went to River Valley, and I was like, man, I'm doing something great here, but man, they're all running a jug. You know what I mean? And then
on the way home, you're trying to decide how you're going to explain it, and that you're going to have that talk.
When you show up and you sneak in the pits, like, I hope nobody asks, you know what I mean? Like, you did something wrong, like you're going to get scolded.
But all four of us, talking here and stuff like that, we all really do, consider that as our home track.
It's our home.
So when we go to Thunder Valley and we go to River Valley, we go to Little Muskie, we try to represent them the best as we possibly can. To say, hey, listen, we're coming from here. We know our racing. We represent them. Them stickers are in front of their cart that we earned out at Little Muskie. We go to those tracks with pride.
Right.
Because we want them to see them lined up on our cart. And they know us coming out, regardless of the opinion that they have. But we also want to show that, it's a great place. I mean, we're great people. Am I wrong, Phil?
Shane, you know what's funny, man? And I mean, you haven't been to a whole lot of different tracks. I mean, I've been to a couple.
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
Little Muskie. I've been to River Valley.
Yeah,
and prior to us ever going to Jug, Trevor can contest to this, that you go to these tracks and they're like, oh, don't go there, man, it's horrible. Am I right, Trevor? And they're like, oh, don't go there, don't go here. They said that about there, and we went there, and I'm like, dude, what in the hell are you talking about? Like, this is like the greatest place ever.
Yeah,
we were told that.
Then you go down to River Valley, and you're like, this is great. I can't wait for him to grow this. You know what I mean? So
me too.
It's just preference, man. One person has a bad time at a place, and and I don't believe in that shit. You don't dirt track, in dirt track world, you don't bad talk a track because you might not like it there. You might have a bad time, but man, that's how places close. And I just want to see it grow and have fun. And it is what it is, man. I mean, I would love to get like 6 guys together and go to this track one weekend, this track one weekend, and they're all from Jug, and they just all go all the way around and just, collect wins and have fun. And, but I mean, that's way, way in the future. But I mean, I want my place to grow. I love Jug. That's my home away from home.
And you brought up that track's closing. So, if Jug closes, if River Valley if Thunderbolt closes, that you've got guys there that only go there, and once that place closes, they're done racing.
Yep, they sell out.
They're done because they won't go. They don't know anywhere else. They don't go anywhere else, and that's kind of the platform that Phil and I talked about when we created this whole podcast was, go-kart racing. It's all over. It's all over. Yeah. I don't care what track you're at, what track's close to you. Get to it, go to it as a spectator, as a racer, whatever. Go visit it, go see it, go experience it, because we don't want any track to close. We don't. I don't care who you are. It could be a track that none of us like, but there's people that are going to that track that are racing. And if that track closed, they're done. And none of us want that.
Right. So, and the other thing is we're kind of in the off season of racing. So like we get to have conversations like this, right? And the other thing I want to do is once we get closer to our season, which we're going to have Jared on. I think next month or something like that. He's going to. I think they're finalizing or something with the schedule. We'll be able to see the schedule. And we'll be able to see when crunch time comes, right? So, I mean, I want to take that time and like, okay, John, Trevor, what are you guys doing to get ready? I want it to be informational, like what I do may not work for John or might not work for Trevor or may not work for Shane. And I want the people that are on here and that it's growing to understand, like, man, there's just change things, man. Try to figure out what works for you. Because I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, there's things that I've tried with tires that Trevor can attest to that it just didn't work for us. I changed something the week prior. We ran really good, and we went out there that following week, and we ran like crap. I just tried something different. You know?
Exactly.
And I mean, that's when it comes time to race season and stuff like that. That's kind of what I want to do with this podcast is grow it and get to know our racers and get to know other racers from around the thing. Because my end goal, man, I'm telling you, is I want to surround myself with good racers and I want to build kart racing. I want to have a granddaddy of a granddaddy. You know what I mean? I want a big race to be the grand finale, wherever it may be. And that's what I want. You know what I mean? And just go out and have fun, man, and make memories and shit, man. That's
And then I'm going to go ahead and try to get out probably like one more last question for us guys and stuff like that, because we all got to get up early in the morning and head off to work. You know, speaking of work and stuff like that, I had somebody come to me and said, hey man, if you got like local racers and stuff on your show, I'd like to know what they do outside of the racing thing, outside of the go-kart racing thing, just to get to know somebody. So what I would like for you guys to do real quick, John and Trevor and Phil and myself, is speak a little bit about like what you do for a living. And also too, outside of racing, what is another passion of yours? Like outside of racing, what is a passion of yours? Like what you do for a living and a passion. Go ahead, John.
I'm a dancer.
I see that. I see it.
Now, listen, I do a lot of things. Like, believe it or not, I was sewing a pair of pants that I blew out just because I'm too cheap to buy new pants. So I sewed those before the show here. But I work at I'm a service advisor for a dealership down here in Groveport, Columbus area. I also work on vehicles myself and small engines and stuff like that. I'm not a great builder. I'm still got way too much to learn. I've always had some help, but when it comes to fixing stuff, I can do that. Whether it's a house, a car, whatever, or a hole of pants, whatever.
What about you, Trevor? What do you do? What do you do for a living, and what is another passion of yours? Oh, I can't hear him.
You're muted, Trevor.
How about now? You hear me now?
Yep. There you go.
That's weird. It didn't show me muted on mine. That's a good question. I actually just took a new job here recently. I actually just switched from running an injector room, being a manager there, to go into a maintenance position here at a local cabin business in Hockin Hills. Outside of that, they also want me to do winery stuff, so I'll be taking over some wine production as well. So that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited for that, just because it's more like science-based stuff and chemistry stuff. So it's pretty cool. That's what I do every day, is just maintenance and wine production or something like that. Outside of that, I really get into I get into a lot of hobbies, honestly. I drop a lot of them pretty quick, and some of them I keep for a really long time, where I come back and forth. But right now I got a bird dog that I'm trying train to get ready for bird hunting and stuff like
Ooh.
that. So hunting is
I didn't know that about you.
yeah, hunting is it's not something I've ever been around with anything within my family or anything like that. I've been more exposed through friends and stuff like that, but it's been a real big part of my life, I think, for the last handful of
Really?
years, and I really enjoy it, and it teaches you a lot, and you just get to be out in the woods.
Mm.
That's one big passion I have is this hunting and animals and being out in the woods and stuff like that for sure. But I have a lot, man. Honestly, like I said, I like to dabble in everything for
I
sure.
wish
So.
I wish you weren't moving, buddy. I got some good hunting places for you.
Oh man, you might
Well,
keep them on the list. We might be able to keep them.
where
Oh,
are you at,
absolutely.
Trevor? Where are you located at?
Sorry, you cut out. What's up?
Where are you located at? Like where
I'm
you
in
live?
Pleasantville. That's where I live over here in Pleasantville.
Pleasantville.
Yeah, it's like just outside Lancaster. It's about 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay. How far is that from MacArthur?
MacArthur specifically, I would randomly probably say about 45 minutes, but I'm not 100% sure. I've been down to MacArthur. A buddy of mine owns some land down there.
Yeah. My pastor. That's one of my other passions is my church, and my pastor has some land down there that he has cattle on down there. So the kids and I like to go down there and help him out when we can and
Yeah.
feed the cows and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
it's a good time.
nice.
What about you, Phil?
Man, I work for a contractor for AT&T. I work on all their equipment, all their small engine stuff, all their big stuff, their drills, underground drills, aerial trucks. That's what I do every day, man. I between Columbus and Dayton,
Mm-hmm.
do it all the time. Outside of hobbies, outside of racing, man, I don't think there really is any, man. I mean,
That is
that's
his
it.
hobby.
That is a hobby.
I mean, I don't have really nothing. I mean, besides, my family. I mean, I love my wife and my
Mhm.
kids and my granddaughter. I mean, really, that's it, man. And now the podcast.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
that's it for me, man. Shane.
really. Well, myself, I work for a company that is mothered out of Lancaster called PKX. We specialize in hydro excavation, which is, in a nutshell, is taking a power washer and shop vac and digging holes, but on a extremely huge uh, way of doing it with a truck. And also, too, I specialize in uh, sewer work, which would be any type of new pipes that's put underground, like sewer storm, inspecting it, cleaning it, and stuff like that. So we've started branches down south. That's one of the reasons why we're moving is because we have a branch in Savannah, Georgia, and in Jacksonville, Florida, and they need somebody to oversee all the employees that are being hired down there. So my job is to manage all the operators that are doing these jobs now from Savannah down to Jacksonville. I mean, that's kind of like my job, doing that. So I'll be managing a bunch of guys who are hydro excavation, jetting sewer lines, and cameraing sewer lines with robotic cameras and stuff like that. So it ought to be pretty neat. Now, as for my hobbies, I mean, just like Trevor, I pick up a hobby, I drop a hobby. I put it this way: one hobby of mine is I can crochet.
Oh,
I could crochet a hat. I could crochet toboggans. I could crochet. I mean, down to that too. I'm a big collector of sports memorabilia too,
Mhm.
from NFL, racing, and stuff like that. I've learned to play the guitars. I play the drums. I back in the day I played guitar for our church. I've done missions. I've been to Guatemala on mission trips for a while, a couple times. I was supposed to go back last year, but I couldn't make it work. I want to go back again. I have a passion for that. I love missions because Reason why I got into the missions is I couldn't get into the military side of stuff. I failed some physical screenings and stuff like that. They said, you're not in the shape. You've got broken legs with pins and plates. And I was like, man, I want to travel the world and see the world and make a difference. So we was at a church service one day, and a missionary came in and was talking about missions and stuff like that, and doing all these different things. I'm like, that's for me. So in my mid 20s, early 30s, I ended up getting into it, and I loved it. Had a passion for it, and now I try to bring that aspect here into local stuff, like with this go-kart stuff. And if anybody ever needs help with anything, any tracks that do benefits, dude, I will fundraise the crap out of a go-kart track. Who wants to do a fundraiser for any type of anything, for any needs and anything like that. So that's kind of like a background of me and my passions and hobbies.
Need a fundraiser to fill my snack cabinet. Can we do that?
Oh, I should say too. I mean, if anybody doesn't know me, I've got 6 kids that runs around this house, and I like to start up a GoFundMe account for that.
Yes.
So, but no, I had a quick question here. Somebody did ask me, since my racing season is going to start a little bit earlier than your guys', is if I got my carts and stuff ready for that upcoming season. No, I don't. Mostly, I'm probably going to start the season going to these tracks and watching them, see how they run, what they're running, what they're doing, and asking a ton of questions with the tracks that are down there in Georgia and stuff like that. I'll probably be spending most of my time being a spectator than I will be racing, because it really wouldn't be the same racing without my daughter being there. It just wouldn't be the same. Will I race a few races? Probably, but will I be running a full every weekend season? No, I'll be more of a spectator, helping growing this podcast from down there. That's my plan.
Trevor, we were asked to see if you can show us Quest, your dog.
I can probably go fetch him. I'm sure he'd love to come in here.
But also, too, real quick. So, all right, I think it looks like we got about 14 people. We've had quite a few people in here. Our message board is blowing up all day today. Well,
Yeah, it's been
all afternoon.
fluctuating.
Very good. I mean, I'm very happy with the amount of people on here and stuff like that. So I got one special announcement to make. John from River Valley brought this up. And we have a goal mark of followers, subscribers, and everything like that. So I made a bet that if we hit 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 followers, has any of you guys ever seen the new Deadpool 3?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
So the opening scene where he's dancing to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye.
Yeah. There he is. There's Quest.
So anyway, if we hit 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 followers, or whatever it is, we hit the 1,000 mark, I will dance to an NSYNC song.
So we got.
What are you going to wear?
What also too, if we hit 1,500, I will wear a fan's choice.
Oh,
how about that? I will put myself out on a line.
I'm seeing a Mrs. Claus outfit coming in.
Listen, I will do it. If anybody here knows, I'm good for my word.
Tutu.
I will wear. Okay, well, let's make it this mark. 15,000. I will dance to an NSYNC song and a fan's choice outfit.
Oh,
boy, you're.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Can we do it?
I don't know. We'll try. We're gonna try.
All right. I made it.
We just subscribed 15,000 times.
Well, here's the thing. I do know there's a few websites where you can buy some views, and they're probably pretty cheap. So.
It's probably pretty cheap.
And if it is pretty cheap, I might be willing to bite that bullet.
But it's on record. it's on record. I will do it. And I will start practicing the dance moves right now.
All right, I'm going to one up that for you.
I'm
If they
just going to
get
say,
15,000 dancers, I won't dance.
I'm just going to say this, Carrie, my lovely wife, start reaching out because I want to see this so bad.
Yeah.
She knows a lot of YouTube channels, and
I want it.
I so much want to start reaching out to her, to them, bring it on, because and I'm going to you're going to do it live right here on this show.
I want to do it live. I'll do it right here.
I'm going to get a hold of
Okay.
Chase Holland Racing. Hunt the front. I'm going to get a ball over here now.
I will do
yeah,
it.
Big screen.
I will do it.
Yeah.
Opening segment. Right off the rip. I will do it.
I will go live just for a special.
It will be a special. I will even do a special.
Yeah.
Bring it. This is how passionate I am about this podcast that we've created. This is how passionate I am about growing everything we do, that I will humiliate myself to the point to get subscribers to us and followers to us, because I love what we're doing.
Oh
right,
my!
man, great. Well, hey, let's do it. Let's
do
it.
it.
Let's
do it.
make it
All right.
happen.
Show us the dog.
We already did.
Where? I missed it.
You were talking about belly dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nope. There. Oh, that's a pretty dog.
Hey, buddy.
It is.
And good looking pup.
Pretty dog.
He's an English setter.
Nice.
Little bird dog.
Love bird dogs. Love them. Speaking of that, I grew up a big rabbit hunter, and we used to have beagles. We've had quite a few of them in and out of our house and stuff like that, and we bred them for a little bit. But I love dog hunting. I love it. It's a big passion of mine.
Awesome.
Big passion of mine.
You went down in
But-
Georgia. I want to keep that in mind. There might be a few spots down there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Exactly.
mean, I love hunting, regardless if it's down to squirrels,
Yeah.
rabbits, deer, whatever it is. I love, just, even if I don't get anything, it's just the peace of being out in the wilderness and seeing nature in front of us, God's creation in front of us, of everything. It's just awesome. I love it.
That's me and fishing. I can sit out there all day long, just sit there and fish.
Not even catch anything.
So, I've got to see a lot of cool, just like hawks, owls. Just like I've just got to experience a lot of cool stuff that you wouldn't from a couch, obviously. You know what I mean? So,
No.
Yeah.
Or
being cool.
Yep. Or being in a big city, and stuff like that. Just getting out and experiencing nature. It's a beautiful thing.
Miss the country.
I see a lot of race cars. I'll go find a race. I don't care.
Yeah.
My wife hates
Exactly.
it. She hates it. I mean,
Exactly.
we go early, and that's my hobby, man. That's what I have passion for, and everything. But hey, man, we're getting close here. I want to thank everybody for
thank
being
you.
a part of the show.
Thanks for having
Everybody
us.
for coming on, man. Thank you, everybody. I really do appreciate it. I like I said, we are trying to grow this and trying to make it bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
And can't do it without people like you and the followers and
absolutely
all the behind the scenes people, Shane, Carrie, my wife.
Yep.
John's really big on this too. And
John from River Valley, not this John.
John from River Valley. He does a lot of behind the scenes stuff, man. That's kind of what he wanted to do, and
he gets our name out there a lot.
So I appreciate everything he does. And Carrie's our monitor on here. She keeps all the stupid people away from us.
Yep.
And keep watching and let's grow it and we get bigger and bigger every week. And we're gonna get better. We'll get better at this stuff, and let's just have fun. Let's grow it, and can't wait for race season. Kind of figure out what everybody's doing and get a bigger picture, and then we'll really get into talking about what maintenance we do and how we do things and what we do leading up to the race and stuff like that. And I mean, that's what we're all here for, man. Let's grow it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, John and Trevor, for
Yeah,
for
thank
hopping
you
on
guys.
here.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for having us. Keep up the good work.
Thank
Next
you,
week,
guys.
next week, man, we get to have the owners of Two Brothers on here. We're going to talk to them and figure out what their track's all about and figure out what they've got going on down there and what they got coming down the pipeline.
Yeah,
And
yeah, because I don't know. They said they asked if what time we started. I don't know if they're on. So if anybody is on from Two Brothers on our live feed and stuff like that, uh, comment below or something like that.
Right.
But anyway, if they're not, I reached out to them this afternoon to, hey, we want you on the show, talk about your track, what your season, stuff like that. They gave me a huge thumbs up and said, dude, I would love to talk about our track.
Great.
So I'm really looking forward
They're all
to
about it, man.
talking about what they have. I believe what they're down in Chillicothe
They're
area.
in between Chillicothe and Circleville.
Yeah, and I want to hear about the benefits
Yeah.
races that they're holding, because as I said, benefit races I hold dear to my heart. I've
Right.
told Phil this millions of times. I'd love to be able to. If I was a millionaire, I'd probably have no money, because the amount of money I give away just just to help out other
Right.
people, and all four of us would be in that same boat if we
Yeah.
were rich people. So if we
But
can
thank
do
you
it.
guys. I
Yep, thank
appreciate
you.
everything you guys doing. Thanks for the support, man. Means a lot to Shane and I and John
Yes.
and everybody and Trevor and Ben and all of us guys. Jarrett, thank you. He's been a big pusher too. So thank you guys, and I will see you guys next week.
See you.
Thank
See
you.
ya.